2024, we made it into the new year. How's your holidays, bro?
And great. I didn't go home this year for the first time, so I got to actually enjoy a little bit of alone time with just me and Caitlin. Got to enjoy our last holiday together, just us, before we have a child. So
yeah, baby Evelyn coming in February.
February 28th is the due date.
It's exciting. Father, that's going to really change in 2024.
Oh, yeah.
Being a father, you know.
Yeah, we got a whole nother game.
Good deal. Well, I know we talked about it briefly off broadcast, but let's kind of just break down and jump right into it. You know, what we're going to tackle today as far as like goal setting. You know, everything going into a new year. A lot of people, you know, December 31st, they're sitting down. They're new me. You know, new year, new me. They're out there setting these goals. Let's kind of break down really how we do our goal setting to kind of maybe influence some other people on how our thought process goes behind, you know, us setting our personal goals, our financial goals, and, you know, our health.
Yeah,
You know?
I think that goal setting is like super important because, again, before I started this job, I'd never set goals in my life. Whenever I sat down to do goals on January 1st of 2023, which is this past year, I realized that if you hold yourself accountable to the stuff that you write down on that piece of paper, your life will change.
Right.
So after realizing that and watching my life change from holding myself accountable last year, I realized how important goal setting is, and that's why I'm putting so much emphasis on that anytime we talk about it, is because this year is going to be determined about what you plan. Because if you don't plan, you're not going to see anything.
Yeah, if you don't have a destination, you'll never go anywhere.
That's right.
Right? So that's the biggest thing, you know, as far as us breaking down our goals and, you know, where do we want to be at the end of 2024?
Yep.
You know, because we're on this path and we got to set guidelines and the process of how to get there. We always use the analogy of success is not an elevator, it's a ladder. So you have to achieve those small steps to be able to achieve that big goal. So let's really break it down and how our three different categories on how, you know, we look at things, if you kind of want to break those down.
Yeah, so I think the most important of all goal setting should always come down to personal or health. You know, if you focus on yourself first, then it's going to be really easy to accomplish the other goals. But health and personal being your first goal that you kind of need to figure out. Second would be your financial goals for the year. So like work related, you know, where you want to be, the steps that you're going to take to achieve those financial goals. And then the last would be like family relationship type of goals.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I would say, especially with the personal health, that's the main thing that I was talking to Kyle. He called me while on Christmas holiday, you know, talking about goals and stuff like that. And the thing I told him is that, and you said, you know, is committing that full 365. You know, it's easy to commit to that goal for a week or two after the first of the year. Yeah, let's go back to the gym.
Yep.
You go to the gym the first of the year, guess how many people are in there?
Everybody.
You know, and then slowly as time goes on, you slowly see less and less and less.
Yep.
So that's the biggest thing as far as my goal. When I was writing down my goals as far as what we're going to accomplish in 2024, it's really breaking that down into those little bitty milestones that equal up to the big picture that you're trying to accomplish at the end of the year.
Yeah. Can't just be like a vague, I want to get in shape.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about how we get in shape, and we're going to set goals that are going to hold us accountable to achieve that goal.
Absolutely. So let's kind of break that down about the small achievable goals, like how you were just saying, as far as if somebody out there in the audience was looking and going, yeah, my ultimate goal for the end of this year is to lose 50 pounds. You know, that's their health goal, is they want to lose 50 pounds of that year. How would you recommend to them as far as committing to that goal, writing down and holding their self accountable to be able to reach that by the end of 2024?
Yeah, for most people, a 50-pound loss in weight that's a huge difference in what you currently are. So it's going to be a very hard thing to accomplish, but nobody's going to just accomplish it by saying I want to do so. If you want to accomplish it, you have to break down into almost a flow chart of how it's going to lead you to that result.
Right.
So it's going to start with eating healthier. You know, it has nothing. I mean, like ultimately, you start by eating healthier, drinking water, changing the way that your normal habits of your current life. If you change the habits of your current life and you start implementing ways that you see people who are in shape, you see Instagram people, you see Arnold Schwarzenegger, like people who have workout plans, and if you start implementing their way of life, then you'll get closer to achieving that goal of losing weight. but it's also it all starts off with you writing down a plan and a deadline. You have to be specific about what you want. It has to be achievable. You have to measure it, and you have to have it on a timeline.
Yep.
Like it has to, and ultimately, what it all comes down to: how seriously are you going to take take the goal? Because if you don't want to,
you got to believe it.
If you don't want to see a 50-pound change in your weight more than anything else in the world, then you're not going to achieve it. It's very slim. But whenever you want it and you truly believe in it, your body's going to do everything to help you.
Yeah, and I like to break this down as far as goals and everything too. It's like it kind of goes back to the ladder analogy. It's a ladder, not an elevator. Mm-hmm. But if somebody was out there and their goal is, I'm going to lose 50 pounds in 2024. Mm-hmm. Like you said, breaking that down into small milestones as far as putting, okay, by January 31st, I will have lost 5 pounds. Mm-hmm. Commit to that 5-pound goal and execute. Yep. And then in February, lose another 5 pounds.
Yep.
And if you lose 5 pounds over the course of 12 months, which would be 60 pounds, you actually exceeded that goal.
Yeah.
So, but it's the little bitty milestones that are very achievable that you can constantly get that satisfaction that you are progressing towards your goal.
Yep.
So as long as you implement those small factors to be able to achieve the small things, the bigger picture is so much easier to accomplish at the end of the day.
Yeah, and the thing to take away from that too is consistency.
Yep.
So you won't achieve a goal unless if you have consistency. So consistency meaning you go out and if you want to make $500,000 this year, the only way that you'll do that is through consistency.
Right.
If you take a month off, you will not make $500,000.
No.
You're not going to, because you've lost all the momentum that you had getting you toward. If you wanted to lose 50 pounds, if you lose 5 pounds, 5 pounds, 5 pounds 3 months in a row, April comes around and you lose no weight. Chances are the following month it's going to be even harder to lose that 5 pounds because you've lost consistency. So it's always about consistency. If you're able to set a goal and then hold the consistency to achieve that goal, then you will achieve it.
That's it.
It's literally like you versus the universe.
And we say it all the time to the guys in the office, and the females as well. But as far as, your goals, it has to be like there's non-negotiables, like we talk about. If you say that you're going to do this, your word is the most powerful thing in this planet.
Oh, yeah.
Your word is what carries you. You know, if you say something, do it, implement it, make those small adjustments. And, like we say all the time to the people that are in here, if you're looking at a goal and you need help breaking that down, break that down. Think smaller. Think, you always say, I want to become the husband that I can become, the best husband I can become, the best friend, the best uncle, cousin, whatever the case might be, and whoever's life is out there. But really focusing on the small things to achieve that big goal is the main thing as far as looking at goal accountability.
Yeah, and another thing with that was one of the mottos or sayings that stuck with me whenever I was working in Utah, like when I first started this job, is be the person that you want to be led by.
Yeah.
So of course we want a incredible leader to lead us across the finish line, to show us where to go. But if you are him, if I am the person that I want to be led by, I'm going to get all the way to the top first.
That's right.
So it's just be the person you want to be led. I don't want to be led by somebody who's not reliable. I don't want to be led by somebody who doesn't hold themselves accountable. Like for a cold shower. If I'm the person that comes in here and tells you to take a cold shower every day, I better be taking one myself. And it's before somebody told me to do all that kind of stuff, I had to implement that kind of stuff to where I'm going to hold myself accountable. It's accountability. And whenever you do that every single day, and like we said, the non-negotiable, your life is going to change because you're doing what others aren't willing to do.
Yep.
And so that you can do what others can't do.
Yep. So you can have, absolutely. And let's kind of break down, we were talking about the small achievable goals and how you achieve the bigger goal. Let's kind of break down our next thing as a short-term, weekly goals, daily goals, quarterly goals, yearly goals. As far as one of my personal goals this year is to read over my goals every day.
Yeah, I think
keep it fresh in your memory. It is hard because a lot of people set a goal, and then a month from now they've forgot what they've committed to. Right. So writing those goals down and refreshing your mind over it and manifesting it is very impactful to accomplish the end goal.
Yeah.
So as far as going through your daily goals, you got your ultimate year goal. my ultimate year goal for my salary is going to be $500,000, so $500,000. So I had to look at that, and I had to break that down on what do I need to do monthly, what do I need to do weekly, and what do I need to do daily.
Yeah.
And those little goals daily, the cold shower every morning, getting up and working out, that is what's going to help me achieve that financial goal of $500,000 in a year.
Yeah.
And for the people that are out there that have never really, because this is my first year, I really did a lot of goal setting last year, but the first year that I'm really committing to the full 365.
Yep, and that's going to be hard, but that's one of my goals as well, is to do the full 365, because my life changed tremendously from January till August. I went on that one trip to Panama, and I relaxed.
Yep.
Relaxing, then I was never as committed or consistent is what I should say. I was never as consistent as I was before I left and took that break. So it's like if you want to get in shape, if you want to get great at a sport, you can use this type of analogy for anything, but ultimately, if you want to become great at it, or if you want to see results, you have to do it every single day with the intent to become better.
Commitment.
Yeah,
and that's another thing, let's take a step back. Let's go back to, how should people set goals? What makes me, for my instance, your instance as well, you can elaborate on yours. My goal this year is to make $500,000 in the year of 2024, along with many other goals that me and you have talked about already. This is just an easier one. How do people set their goal? How kind of break that down as what your advice would be to somebody that's going, okay, well, I want to set goals, but where do I start, right? What would be your advice to somebody?
Yeah, my biggest thing is that you've got to have a fire burning in your chest whenever you're setting these goals. You have to get excited about the goals. If you're treating it as homework, someone's telling you to do goals and I need to write down goals so I fit in the crowd, you're not going to hold yourself accountable to them. But whenever I'm writing goals now, like I'm eager, like I've been looking forward to goal setting, because it's something I have a whole new purpose in my life for this next year. So if you're going to write down goals, you have to get to the mindset of I'm going to do this. Like this piece of paper is a non-negotiable. If I write it on there, whatever I wrote on that paper, it's gonna suck, but it's gonna help me. And if you hold yourself to it, whatever you write on there, you just got to be in the mindset of I'm going to accomplish this. I'm going to finish the race.
Yeah. So ultimately, like what you're saying, is where are you going? Where's your destination? So as far as somebody that's sitting there and they're, man, I've never really committed to goals. Like I've always had a New Year's resolution that we've all heard.
Yep.
But a New Year's resolution, I can't even stand when people say that.
I do too. Yeah.
No, you have goals. It's not a resolution. No, this is what you're going to do, and there's no other option.
The difference is either a New Year's resolution, it's what is the year going to do to me?
Yep.
Versus goals, what am I going to do to this year?
Yep. Exactly.
That's the only
difference. How are you
difference.
going to attack it?
Yeah, so setting goals with that mindset of this is my mission this year.
Yep.
I'm going to accomplish this task. And by accomplishing this, next year is going to be 10x.
Yep.
But it's only because it's just like if you wake up every day, it's like, what's today got planned for me? Rather than having your day planned out accordingly, how you're going to master every single day. It's consistency in that, and that's where you'll achieve goals.
Yep.
Versus waking up and letting the day just happen to you, you're never going to be anything better than
and that's the biggest thing is when somebody's sitting there and they're writing down their goals, really just picture where you're going to be at in 12 months from now. You know where you are today. Look back at where you were a year ago. Okay? A year ago today, I was standing there, I was showing properties in real estate, and I had a goal. Did everything would be selling windows? No, that was not my goal.
Nope.
But the door opened because of my goals.
Yep. Because you set goals and you were motivated.
I was motivated to find more and to do more for myself. So the best advice that I would give anybody out there that is goal setting, and this doesn't have to be a January 1st thing. You set goals throughout the year, daily, weekly. This is not just a New Year's resolution. I can't stand when people say it.
Yeah, it can always come down to that.
Exactly.
Day one or one day.
Day one or one day.
You know, it could be January or it could be December. It could be in the middle of December. That's either your day one or that's your one day.
Yep.
One day you'll be a millionaire, or that could be day one I'm working towards being a millionaire.
Yeah. But literally sit there and think about, where do you want to be? Mm-hmm. Who are the person that you want to become? Who are the person that you want to be led by?
Yeah.
Become that person.
And it's not an easy person to be.
It's not an easy person
if
to be.
If it was, there would be tons of people out there like this.
It's so hard to do, and that's where a lot of people, they fail, man. And I've failed many a times on goals. Mm-hmm. And that is not what you want to do, but that's just part of the process. Mm-hmm. You know, that commitment level of, I'm going to do this and make it a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
And go out there and do what you say you're going to do. It's hard to get up every morning, you know, after you worked out the day before, whatever the case might have been. But holding yourself accountable and do it, the days that it's hard to do it are the days that pays for you doing it. Mm-hmm. If you go do it on the days that you don't want to do it, those are the days that pay you. Mm-hmm. We always say to the guys, you know, it goes back to knocking doors. The days that you're drowsy coming in, you're like, man, I was so out of 50 conversations, you know. You're trying to find that motive inside of you to give you that. But the days that you grit and you dive deep down into your soul and you say, I'm going to do this no matter what, even though I feel, you know, I got a cough, I feel sick. No, go do it. And then whenever you go do it, those are the days that pay you. You know, if you go and do the hard days, the days that you know got to go to sleep early and got a good night's rest, those are easy days. Mm-hmm. Do it on the days that it's hard.
And one thing that I would say that I've noticed from my last year, my full year of being in door-to-doors is when I first started, January and February, when I first implemented my goals, everything was hard.
Right.
It was a battle with myself all day, every day. As soon as I woke up, it was a battle with myself. I fought that up until I started getting better at the job, and then I started to implement my goals every day. And then it became to a point where from March until August, for the rest of the year, it was almost like my body was in auto drive. It's in autopilot mode because you get into tunnel vision and you've been so consistently doing what you're supposed to do that you'll look up and you've achieved 8 months of success. But it's because you've done what you're supposed to do every day. You don't give yourself time to have inactivity, or you don't give your time to stress over something because you didn't take action on something you had control over. So
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
And then also, as far as those, it'd be good to always, so whenever you're setting those, I always think it's best to start with your yearly goal. Like, end of the year, I want to make $500,000.
Where do you want to be? Who are the person you want to become?
Exactly. And then break it down into smaller pieces. So start off yearly, then go quarterly, then go down into monthly, weekly, and daily. So you find your big goal, and then you say, well, here's my big goal. What do I have to do in order to achieve that? And then you can say, well, each quarter I have to do this much. And then each month I have to do this much. Each week I have to do this much. But the thing is writing these goals down. And it's a great thing to have on your goal list, just to read it every single day because it's going to force you to be current with it. But give yourself checkups, you know, almost like a checklist. It'd be like, all right, well, here we are in March. I've done everything except for take a cold shower. So I need to get on my cold, you know, like grade yourself almost on your on your productivity of your goals. Because if you get through quarter one and you haven't been doing a fraction of your goals, you're not going to achieve what you were trying to get the big picture.
So, you need to reevaluate.
Yeah, so a lot of reevaluation.
Reevaluating and recommitment. Mm-hmm. Recommitment. Now that we're talking about goals, let's go ahead and elaborate on that a little bit. I know we haven't talked about it recently, but recommitment. You know, we really talk about this, you know, in the daily, you know, here at Performance. But you go through days, and you're going to have hard days. You're going to have easy days. It's just part of life. Yeah. You know, it's making the best out of those hard days. Mm-hmm. You know, making sure that you're staying committed. If you sit there and you slack on this goal, and if something does not happen the way that you want it to, which that needs to be, there's no other option. But when you come to that, recommit to that goal. Yeah. Like you said, if you get down to through the month of January and you told yourself you were going to take a cold shower every morning and you didn't do it for, let's say, a week, well, then recommit to that goal.
Yeah, and habits are very, very easy to form, whether they're good or they're bad.
That's it.
So if you have good habits and you hold yourself accountable to your goal list every single day, you're going to create good habits because you're going to keep current every day. But the day that you take off and you don't read your goals, and that's the day that you forget to drink water all day long. That's the day that you forgot to go take your cold shower. You get to work and you're like, dang, I didn't take my cold shower today. But then that's where bad habits will start to form. So if you have one day that you are not current and you skip, then that is the next day will be easier to skip. And that's how bad habits are formed. But if you want to form good habits throughout the entire year, you have to start right and you have to stay right.
Yeah, and let's kind of elaborate. I know you said like the deadlines, really be strict on the deadlines. And another thing that I do whenever I write my goals, it's more of like, it's not like, let's say if I'm writing down, I'll use my salary goal for instance. So I will, or if I was to write, make $500,000 in a year. When I write my goals down, and this is my relationship goals, all of my goals, I write, I will make $500,000 by December 31st of 2024. Write that I will. Believe in yourself when you write these goals.
Belief is the biggest part of it.
Yeah, if you don't believe it, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's like the ultimate, because if you don't really believe that you have the ability to make $500,000, you wouldn't write that on your paper.
Nope.
Because it's impossible, right? But belief, just like selling door to door, it's all about belief. If you believe it, it will happen. Yep. And that's why I always say, like, you got to feel the fire in your chest. Yep. Like, you are so hungry to go out there and do what you say you're going to. It's like I'm eager to be accountable. I'm eager to be reliable. But all of these things it's going to help you to be the best person that you can be.
That's right.
Yeah, but that's why we do this. The reason we start goals is because it's going to help us. It's going to continue to help us make good habits to where 10 years from now, think about our goals then.
It'd be crazy.
Our goals are going to be nuts.
Yeah, I don't.
But it started last year when we sat down and wrote them. Now this year, January 21st. January 1st, 2023. We're going to give it our all. We're going to write down some really hard goals that are achievable, and we're going to hold each other accountable for a full 365.
No, and hopefully, like we were talking about before we got on air, is that we hope that this podcast here influences other people to make goals. Change your life. We always say, and one of my favorite sayings about Kyle, and I know this refers back to performance, but this is any career out there, is that this job is life-changing, but only if you're willing to change your life. Nothing will change in your lifestyle as far as your financials, your relationship, spiritually, whatever the case is, nothing will change until you make change.
That's it.
If you don't make change and you're dreaming and not goal setting, dreaming and goal setting is two different things.
Yeah.
I could have wrote on my goals is to make $1.52 million this year. Come on, man. That's just setting up for disappointment. Set milestones. It's a ladder. It's not an elevator.
That's right.
But let's really break down some of our goals. Maybe give some people some ideas on what we're looking at. Really, I know we talked about some of our, relationship goals, financial goals, spiritual goals, and that's one thing. And I'm not going to turn this into a religious podcast by any means, but one of my biggest things that I've struggled with this past year is, getting close to God, man. Really, you go through these high times and you're on cloud nine, and 2023 was unrealistic in my opinion in my life, and I made a post about this the other day, is that 2023 was unrealistic, and I don't even have words to explain how much my life has changed. But at the same time, you get caught up in everything in the externals, that you got to remember what your purpose here on this earth.
And that's what it always comes down to. I feel like if you watch any successful person, anyone really, especially the ones who have good heads on their shoulders, they've earned their way to success, they're always going to revert back to God. And the reason for that is because he is our purpose. He's the one that gives us the opportunity to do all of this. And so with me, health and personal family goals, and all across the board, I've got something to do with religion. So praying before every meal, it's just the things that can keep me current, because again, you want to be led by the person who you want to be, the person that you want to be led by. So for me, I want to have someone who is like burning with passion for God.
Before you keep going, let's use this as an example. Evelyn comes here in February.
Yep.
You want to be the father that she would want to be her father.
I want her to, whenever she's around us, she's gonna grow up to be a princess in this world. That she's surrounded by all the corrupt people in the world, but she's never gonna buy into the evil that's around her. But the only way that that's gonna happen is I show her that none of that matters. No. I go out and I show her that through hard work, through a relationship with Christ, through persistence and consistent discipline, and instill all of that stuff into her, I can raise her to be a very successful daughter.
Exactly.
But
person.
That's what we do. But that's what I found, like, the passion in this job now is watching the growth of others. So I feel like I'm getting practice on people in this office for my family. Right. I treat the office like my family. I actually, in 2023, I was way closer with my office than I was with my family. And the reason for that is because I knew that I had to make a massive sacrifice in order to change my life. So, again, if you're willing to change your life, the company will change your life for you. But you got to be willing to let it change. And so that's what I did, though. I made a huge change because back at home, I was too involved with everybody back, all my close family. But in reality, you got to get away to actually start something.
Yeah, self-development. You got to focus on yourself. And we always make the comment as, you got to be selfish in a sense as far as, you have to put everybody else's feelings aside and focus on yourself, because the saying that everybody always says is that if you're going, you can't make somebody in a relationship. You can't make somebody else happy if you're not happy.
No.
So how are you going to go get in a relationship with a girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever the case might is for anybody? Is how are you going to go in there and create a healthy relationship when internally you're not happy and satisfied with yourself?
You won't.
So it will never happen. So you have to get selfish and focus on your personal development, and the rest is going to follow.
Yeah.
So let's really break down as far as our goals. I would really like to, I know I just elaborated a little bit on spiritually. So one thing that, like I said, I really want to get closer to God this year, and one of my goals is to, and I know you were doing this last year, but I want to implement where me and Journey go to church once a month. Really implement that. We don't get one day off a week usually, and I like to spend that day with Journey. And once a month, we can go take our time and give it to the Lord.
What's an hour?
Right, what's an hour?
3 hours getting dressed.
Exactly.
Getting dressed and go to church is 3 hours of your day on one day of the week.
That's it.
Out of the one day of the month. Even then, just it's getting out there and staying current. So I was a saying, or I watched a video not too long ago that a relationship with God is like a relationship with your wife.
Yep.
If you never see your wife and you don't ever talk to her and you don't ever tell her you love her, if you basically treat her as she's non-existent,
there's no relationship,
and you only go see her once every 6 months, well, guess what? Your relationship ain't much of a marriage.
Yep.
So the thing is, God's the same way. If you want to have God in your life, you want to have the fuel to your fire. You got to keep Him current.
Yep.
And for me, that's praying every day. I've set apps to where I get notifications of a scripture every single day at 9:30. Yep. So I'm laying in bed. Ding, that's my last thing to go off. I'm going to read a scripture before I go to bed. So it's just that kind of stuff to keep you current, because that's the reason we have all this.
And we have technology today to make it easier on us to achieve these goals.
It's just it's not being lazy,
Yep.
taking the time and effort to make the change.
And using the technology to our advantage, not to our disadvantage. Yep, you could sit on this phone and you could watch all the negative stuff on the news or whatever's out there. There's so much out there that's negative that you can go on Google and type in whatever you want and you'll find something negative.
Yeah, I feel like it's a great analogy too, is like your cell phones and like God is very relatable in a sense of like, ultimately it's doing what others are not willing to do.
Yeah.
So everybody's willing to go on Instagram, on TikTok. You open your phone and it's like muscle memory to go to that app. It is hard to go to the Bible app and read a scripture.
That is.
Whenever I get the notification, when I first started getting the notifications, I'd get the notification and I'd be like, oh, I'll read that in a second. And I'd put my phone down. But I started telling myself, what is so important in my life right now that I can't stop and read God's word?
Yeah.
So if I'm in a conversation, I will stop the conversation, read the scripture. Sometimes I'll read it to who I'm in front of. Caitlin, she's ever around me, I'm like, got the scripture of the day, and I'll read it. But the thing is like you got to realize that non-negotiables, and especially with Christ, because if you start cutting him off, then guess what? Your life's going to start getting cut off.
That's it.
But it's just you do what you're supposed to do, and you will get rewarded.
Let's also now that we're on the goals, let's kind of really break down our goals and kind of use this platform as an accountability for me and you.
I think so. Let's do the goals that we both have on our paper. So as far as health and personal goals, all right. So one thing that me and you will do all year long, 365 days, is a 5 a.m. wake up.
Yep.
So we're waking up every single day before the sun comes up. That was first victory. We beat the sun. Every day.
Every day.
We're going to take cold showers every morning. Cold showers are non-negotiable. Before we did cold showers, we lived lazy lives. After cold showers every day, our lives have changed dramatically.
Yeah, and one thing I did on my cold shower was that I noticed that I was doing at the end of the year last year, because it gets cold. It gets cold, is that you sit there and I'm getting cold, bro, and I'm like, all right, that's enough. You know what I mean? And so I started using it every now and then. I would put a timer right there to see how long it would take me. So I'm committing that I will take a cold shower for a minimum of 2 minutes every morning.
Yep.
So I'm going to hold myself, because it's easy. I would get in there and I would turn it on and get up underneath there, in about 30 seconds, I'm like, all right, it's enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know the feeling.
Yeah, I've been there.
It goes cold.
So I'm going to really hold myself accountable on that, and I think it's going to make a big difference. So.
Yeah. The cold showers and the waking up early, if you can implement that in your life every day.
It will change him instantly.
Just those two things.
That is so crazy on how much that changes your life. Because you're no longer, as soon as you get in that cold shower, it's going to shock your body.
Yep. And you get out, you're smiling.
Yep.
You get out, you're feeling good.
Yep.
You get out, you're ready to take on the day.
Yep.
It's ultimately you shock yourself before the world can shock you.
Yep.
And so you're prepared all day long.
Absolutely.
Other than that, I don't know if you have this one or not, but for me, I've got only drink water, water or coffee. That's my only two options. I know that you have this as well, but read or listen to at least 12 books this year. They say that successful people usually read an average of at least 50 books a year. We're going to get there. Last year I read 6 books. This year I'm going to double that, and I'm going to read 12 books. So.
And let's elaborate on that for the people out there that might want to use that as a goal,
Yeah.
As far as the books, knowledge is priceless, man. Knowledge will always help you grow in your everyday life, just as far as your personal development.
Yeah.
And one thing that, and you can kind of elaborate, I know we talked about it earlier, is that you were going to use on your way to work that 30 minutes.
Every day.
20 minutes to turn on podcasts and listen.
Self-growth.
I'm not telling you to sit here and go buy you a Harry Potter book and go sit there and read this thing for 2 weeks straight. That's not, No, well, use that time, utilize your time.
Yep.
You're in the car going to work, like you said, 20 minutes. Pop on that Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone.
Improve yourself.
Whatever it is, spiritual book, whatever.
Tax books.
Yeah, tax
I'm gonna
books.
read a tax book because I don't understand them. So
Exactly.
I'm gonna learn. That's the only way. That the only way that you're gonna figure things out in life is by doing the uncomfortable.
And we have audio books now where you can do two things. That you could drive to a location and listen to a book and gain knowledge.
Yep.
Utilize your time instead of turning on Kevin Gates or Lil Boosie.
Yeah, make you feel good.
Yeah,
that's good.
It's easy to do that.
But
it's hard to turn on that book. Go to your book app on your phone and go listen to a book on the way to work. Yeah. It's hard to do that, but that's how the greats become great.
Yeah, you got to change your mind, and if you change your mind, then you're going to change your life.
That's it.
Yeah. So.
And let's see here.
Work out 4 days a week. Oh, you got 3 days a week.
Yeah, I got a minimum workout 3 days a week.
Be a little bit bigger than you at the end of the year, but that's all right.
So minimum of 3 days a week. So that's my goal. As far as that, I'm planning on. But we play basketball, so I'm gonna use those other 2 days to play basketball and stuff like that in the mornings. Definitely stay active.
Yeah.
One thing that I really want to implement more this year that I did last year is. That's why I did 3 days a week, is because some of those other 2 days, I told myself that I want to make myself go on morning hikes at 5 a.m.
Yeah, a morning time walk.
Get inside nature, clear my mind.
That's one I'd like to add to mine is go for a walk/run every day.
Yep.
Because when knocking the doors, you don't realize it, but knocking them doors is therapeutic. You get on the doors, and it is just so, you clear your mind. You go out there, and you just tunnel vision for 5 hours, 6 hours a day. You just go out there and grind. And you don't realize it because you're outside, you're enjoying nature. Well, as you progress in the job,
the amount of steps and walking that you do is so beneficial. Health-wise, it's so beneficial. Mm-hmm. And as you move up, you don't get to go hit those doors like you do on that daily basis.
Yeah. So, to implement and hold myself accountable to go and get outside for a little walk every day or at least something, I think that would help me a lot. But yeah, that's like our health and personal goals. That's like the best place to start. Financially, our financial goals. For me, this year, my goal is to make $600,000 a year. So the only way that I'm achieve that, it's $50,000 a month for all 12 months. Yep. It's achievable, and the position that I'm going in, we're planning on growing a lot. Money-wise, we're going to achieve that by accomplishing these other goals. Another goal being a regional by November of 2024. If I become a regional by November 2024, we've accomplished all the things that's below here. We've gotten at least 3 direct recruits. That's 3 people who have learned, mastered, and became great at the job. Produce 8 Golden Door winners.
Before we go down, I want to go over these goals too.
Yeah, let's hit them.
We're gonna save those goals for last because those are the ultimate goals.
Yeah.
That all these little goals is what's going to equal up to the big business goals that we've.
I see those, yeah.
Let's talk about the podcast goal, man. This is kind of getting out of our comfort zone. It's a lot of people don't see the work that goes into this and that we've put into it, but definitely getting out of our comfort zone. Mm-hmm. Getting our face blasted everywhere. Doing podcasts. So we definitely will film a podcast once a week.
Yep.
That's one of our goals for the podcast is we want to steadily have content coming out to our audience. And if y'all have any, drop some comments. Tell us what you want to hear about because all that does is help us to, elaborate a little bit more on topics, stuff that can be valuable to you guys.
Yeah, fit the audience.
Yeah, we also have, our goal is to have 15 guest speakers on the podcast by the December 31st of 2023. We've already got a couple people in mind, so to bring a lot more different knowledge, not just as far as ourselves, but people that are, have accomplished more than we have at this moment. So if we can bring that on to you guys, we would love to do that. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. We definitely want to reach a lot of followers. Our goal is to have 1,000 followers on all social media platforms, which we got Jack that's going to be helping us out with that to really help us lock that down.
Yeah, we'll knock that one out.
Absolutely. And but let's go. Another one is, like you said, you're going to be a regional by the, November 2024. Wasn't that it? What was your goal?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a financial goal. Regional by 2024. We want to get financial and work. So how I'm going to achieve that is continue to have self-growth. So ultimately, I've been reading a lot. I'm growing on the way to work every day. I still listen to all the podcasts. But I would like to attend at least one sales or leadership summit this year. That's going to be they're probably going to cost me a little bit of money to go, but it's knowledge. I'm going to put myself out there. It's uncomfortable to go into a room with people that I don't know.
Yep.
Network, continue to help me to do so because I may get potential recruits there. I may learn sales experience. Network. That's what it's going to be real big for.
Absolutely.
So that is a big financial goal and a work goal for me. And then also I'd like to have one financial call a week with either Levi or Kyle every single week, just to kind of keep current and make sure that I'm pacing right because we're following footsteps of them.
100%.
So I just want to make sure that we're doing things that they've already experienced the mistakes that we're about to make. So. A phone call.
What we're trying to prevent.
Yeah. So financial goals and work goals, those things are going to help me to achieve that $600,000 a year. Mm-hmm. There are other goals that are our goals together.
Yep. And one of them's open up another branch by March 1st.
Yep, March 1st.
March 1st. So we got a bunch of, that's going to be insane. We've also, our goal, one of our big goals right here, let me pull this up. So let's go over the big goals.
All right.
Let's break these goals. So these are the fun. These are our ultimate goals by the end of the year. Is that we will have 8 Golden Door winners out of both Denver branches by December 31st of 2024.
3 for our first year in office is not bad.
Yep, 3 for our first year in office. Myself, Garret, and Dylan Kerfassi. I got mine done on the last day of the month or last day of the year.
Yeah,
which is the Lord above, bro.
Literally,
it is the craziest story, and I'll kind of let me just go ahead and talk about this.
Talk about that story.
Yeah, so. It was December 19th. I closed 3 deals down, and my last one was like a $47,000 deal with Carter that I closed. And it pushed me right at my Golden Door. I think I was right at it or right below it. I think I barely hit it. And the next morning I come in, had a call back cancel. Knocked me up underneath my Golden Door. We're going into December 20th with the last working day. Last working day going to December 20th, I'm down. Let's say it was like 50,000, 45,000.
Yeah.
In the matter of 5 minutes after you telling me this, we were all in the room. Me, you, Lizzie, Carter, and Dylan. I think no, Dylan was gone. Me, you, Lizzie, and Carter. $66,000 callback. Put me over my Golden Door on the last day of the month. That's the good Lord above, bro.
That's it.
Hard work always pays off. I made it in a post about it yesterday. You go out there and you just work and grind for 365. You're gonna see her end goal and reap rewards from it. So that was one very beneficial. I don't even know how to explain the emotion that I had behind it. But as far as 8 Golden Door winners, very well capable.
All we have to do is we have to implement the fire that we have into 8 people. Because the job is going to help you do it on its own.
That's it.
And all we have to do is continue to convince people to get on our mindset.
That's it. And 40 people combined through the Denver ranches.
Yep.
So I know we're right at around 20, 21 right now.
On tomorrow, we're going to have about 25 people in here.
About 25 people, yeah. So we'll have about 25. 40, I think we can beat 40.
Yeah.
Very good goal, though, because we're going to be in the process of opening up another branch. But
we're going to have to start
fluctuating
on numbers as far as like really
balancing out,
pushing the people out that don't belong in the room with us versus really implementing
the buy into the process.
Yep.
And next one is $18 million in total revenue for both Denver locations.
Yep.
That's a good number.
Yeah, no office has done $10 million in revenue yet in a year. So Denver office, North Denver will definitely break the $10 million month. I mean the $10 million over the year. And then as far as the South Denver branch, we're going to be knocking it out together. We're going to be team working.
I think we can definitely produce about $8 million.
Yeah, I think we're not going to be below
7
5.
million, yep. Definitely not below 5.
Not below 5.
$7 million for
From March until December, we can definitely do it.
Absolutely, especially with the dudes that we got coming. In the office, it's going to help build it with us. To have 8 Golden Door winners, you got to put up some revenue.
That's a lot.
So that's what's going to help to reach that 18.
8, 10. All right, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. That's 16 mil right there just in the Golden Doors.
Just in Golden Doors.
Yeah.
Very well possible.
So if we hit our Golden Door goal,
we'll hit our 18. We'll blow the 18 million.
Investing in 8 people to be their best will help us to achieve that goal.
Yep, absolutely. And then produce 12 qualified closers by both offices. So through just the North Denver office, we produced 7 last year. Our ultimate goal by the end of 2024 is going to be 12. North and South. I think it's very well possible. We've got a bunch of dudes and women that are coming in here that are hungry, wanting to change their life, writing down their goals. We both already got text messages from some of the guys in the office as far as like what they're going to accomplish this year.
Yep.
And hey, we're right there behind them. We're going to push them. We're going to motivate, and they motivate us. So it's going to be a life-changing experience for the next 12 months.
Yeah.
And we're going to look back on this podcast and go, wow, we said that we're going to do it, and we're going to do it. There's no other option.
I can't wait for goals next year.
Yeah, wait for goals next year. But, hey, look, we appreciate all y'all joining. You got anything else you want to add?
Nope, that pretty much wraps up the goal setting for today.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, look, drop some comments. Drop some of your goals in the comments. Let us know what you're going to achieve. Hey, we'll hold you accountable.
Stuff you liked about our goals. If you think that you would change them, things that might help us, let us know.
Give us feedback. Absolutely. We greatly appreciate discipline, desire, and dedication, baby. 2024 is going to be a big year. I'm excited for it, but we'll see you guys next time.
All right, peace out.
Peace.